Everyone, this is Chris Shoemaker, also known as Yehuda Ben Shomer, and you're watching the Ponderings of the Perkei Avot. And today we are in chapter 3, verses 10 and 11. And it says, Rabbi Dustai, the son of Rabbi Yani, would say in the name of Rabbi Meir, anyone who forgets a single word of this learning, the Torah considers it as if he has forfeited his life, as is stated. Just be careful. And verily guard your soul, lest you forget the things that your eyes have seen. And this is a direct quote taken from Deuteronomy 4:9. One might think that this applies also to one who has forgotten because his studies has proved too difficult for him. But the verse goes on to tell us, and lest they be removed from your heart throughout the days of your life. Hence, one does not forfeit his life unless he deliberately removes them from his heart. And it goes on to say, Rabbi Kananiah, the son of Dosa, would say, one whose fear of sin takes precedence to his wisdom endures. But one whose wisdom takes precedence to his fear of sin, his wisdom does not endure. Okay, let's tackle this first part about, forgetting. Why would somebody forget Torah learning? They learn something. Why would they forget? I see this happening all the time. I speak on a very regular basis at various places. And, sometimes when I return, I say, hey, do you remember what I spoke on last time I was here? And you get the deer in the headlights look, and they're all kind of looking at each other and kind chuckling and all embarrassed and kind of sheepish, sinking in their seat because they don't know. They forgot. It just went in one ear and out the other. Why do you think that is? Was my sermon too hard for them? Was it way over their head? No. It's because they may have heard it, but they didn't apply the teaching to their life. In other words, they didn't put the teaching into practice. That's how something solidifies with learning, is not just hearing it, but doing it. So like you can read the instruction manual to something and throw the manual away, and then you try to do it and you're like, what do I do? You have to not just read the manual, you have to perform the manual. Sometimes you have to have the manual right beside you and kind of do it step by step by step. And when you do it, you're like, oh, I get it. And so the next time you do that same thing, you don't need the instruction manual because you've done it. You've got that muscle memory, that mind memory, the visual memory of you actually doing those instructions. It's no different from the Word of God. When you hear the Word of God, immediately try to bring it into yourself and apply it to your heart and life. It all boils down to the most famous verse in Judaism. It's the John 3:16 of Judaism. Can anybody guess? Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. We lose a little something in translation because the word Shema we translate as hear in the English. But a more accurate translation is actually two words for that word Shema. And that is hear and obey. Hear and obey, Israel. The Lord our God, the Lord is one. So that word Shema doesn't just mean to hear, it means to do. It means to obey. So the way not to forget a Torah teaching is once you hear it, go out and do it. Go out and perform it. Apply it to your life. Make it applicable. Make it yours. Right? Let's tackle the second one. What about this one whose fear of sin takes precedence to his wisdom endures, but one whose wisdom takes precedence to his fear of sin, his wisdom does not endure, right? So if let's label the first verse, chapter 3, verse 10, that's hear and obey. This second one, verse 11, would be fear and obey, right? Fear and obey. So what is fear? Fear is a healthy thing. It can be a very healthy thing. If you see an electrical line down and it's going across the middle of the road, you're not just going to run out there and say, oh, well, let me move this out for somebody. You're going to get electrocuted, right? You know better. You know not to go and touch an electrical line that has fallen on the road. Why? Because you know that you could get electrocuted and you can get killed. There is a fear that's there that keeps you from touching that electrical wire. That fear keeps you alive. That fear keeps you safe. So the point being is that we should fear sin. We should fear sinning because of the destructive lethal consequences, just like that electrical wire across the road. You touch it, you die. What does James say? Lust, when it has conceived, bringeth forth sin. Sin, when it is fully grown or is birthed, gives birth to death. It brings forth death. So spiritual LSD, lust, sin, death. That's why we should fear sin, because there's death that's connected to sin, whether it be spiritual, whether it be mental, whether it be physical, or all the above, right? So now we got to ask ourselves, if we're to fear sin, have a healthy fear of sin so that we don't perform sin, we got to know what sin is. So 1 John 3:4 says, whoever committeth sin transgresseth also the law. For sin is a transgression of the law. So all we have to do to know what sin is to read the Torah, to read the 5 books of Moses, the 613 commandments. That tells us what sin is. And breaking those laws, those instructions of God is sin. Bottom line, point blank, period, exclamation point, simple as that. Whoever commits sin transgresses the law, for sin is a transgression of the law. So disobedience to Torah is sin. So make it a priority to study Torah, to know Torah, to practice Torah, and to obey Torah. And for the Torah, because the Torah are the very words of God. And when it comes to sin, let us fear sin. Fear the death that comes with sin. Fear the consequences that comes bearing down on our life when we sin. Fear of disappointing God. I remember some things I didn't do as a teenager. I didn't go out and party and get drunk or do drugs or have premarital sex because I didn't want to do them. No, the temptation was there. The curiosity was there. But what kept me from it, believe it or not, it was I was thinking, man, if my mom and dad ever found out, they would kill me. Actually, no, that didn't really bother me. Them killing me didn't bother me. What bothered me is that I knew they would be disappointed in me. The look on their face, the heartbreak that showed on their face, and if they were to say, oh, I'm so disappointed in you, that would break my heart. I feared that more than them killing me or getting grounded or whatever. So the fear of disappointing my parents kept me from sin. So fear of disappointing God or hurting God because of your sin is also a good thing. And that will keep you wise. That is kind of the pinnacle and epitome of wisdom. All right, I'm going to get out of here. You guys have a great day. Shalom, Shavua Tov. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to press the like button as well as the subscribe button if you haven't done so already, and the notification bell that'll let you know every time I make a new video. And don't forget to share this with a friend. Also, visit our website at abrahamsdescendants.com. Thanks. Shalom.